have it yet? Ah, there I am. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Currently in the same room as always. I kind of graduated from my timeout box, and I'm in this bigger room. I love the bushy background I have of all the Ezoic. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys are all healthy and happy. A couple exciting things to cover today. Nothing crazy, but again, I want to give everyone at least a handful of minutes to come in, get everything situated, and then join. It took me a couple extra minutes this morning as there were some meetings going on in this room before me. Get everything situated and then join. It took me a couple extra minutes. Again, background noise from my computer. But yeah, I'll just give everyone at least another 2-3 minutes to join. And X says, "Hi Charlie, how are you guys doing?" Carl also says, "Hey y'all, how are you guys doing today?" I'm curious, where are you guys checking in from? Of course, you don't have to disclose that information, but just out of curiosity. Okay. Oh, Canada, nice. What part of Canada are you checking in from? And Annex, I've actually been to Ireland once before. That's actually the only place in Europe I've been before, but it was amazing. I would love to go back. I have a lot of Irish heritage, so I love my meat, potatoes, and greens. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have joined before. I'll introduce myself here in maybe another minute. But you guys can actually just write down anything down in the comment section below, and then I can basically cover anything to the best of my ability, whether it be something specific with your setup, or whether it be something about Ezoic, maybe a new feature or an old feature, maybe a feature that I think you guys should use more, maybe an underutilized feature that I don't get to use enough. But yeah, we can leave this pretty open-ended. I'm very happy to go whatever direction you guys are willing to do. I really wish I had this connected to the computer and not hooked up through here. I'm not sure if I can change it at this point, but I would love to do that. Oh, from Ontario, amazing. Oh, from Nepal, awesome. And Guav is here. Hello, how are you guys? I love how we all get to kind of check in from different parts of the world. I think that's so unique. I think that's such a valuable asset as we're all website publishers or part of this digital world. I'll say. Okay, great question. So the first one I have here is, hey, how to access Video Creator from Ezoic. So this is a great question, and this is actually covered in the video tab of the dashboard. There's an entire video section designated towards it, but it kind of depends on where your videos are currently living, whether just through files you can upload them, or if you're currently running a YouTube account, you can actually embed your YouTube videos through Ezoic, and then it basically goes as simply as adding video placeholders to your pages, and then from there you can just select the certain settings you would like to use. So for instance, you can run like pre-roll, mid-roll, or post-video ads. Or you can choose, different stylings. You can choose different locations. But yeah, I can attach a really good article for this right now. If you guys have not visited our knowledge base articles yet, it's such a good resource, regardless of your question. I'll post the support article from our knowledge base down below, but then I'm also going to go back and I'm just going to post the URL that links to our knowledge base. I think anytime you guys have a question, I think this is probably the best first place to go. When I say probably, I definitely mean it is the best first place to go. There's just there's tons and tons of information there. Our marketing team has been cranking out content. They've been working really hard on writing new content. So anything that's relevant or utilized in Ezoic, there's probably a very long, in-depth article on this. And not only does it give you exactly word for word how to use them, it'll also go into, sometimes, the basic troubleshooting features, sometimes the errors you might see. But it basically goes into everything head to toe, basically what you might expect, whether things run perfectly or not. But great question. I do want to think we should emphasize that video content is going to be a huge factor going forward. I think Ezoic is going to put a large amount of their time focusing on video content. So that article is a great read and a great start. Anik says, Charlie, I've been running a test using Tag Tester, but for the last week or so, the tag has not changed for the next text. Am I losing tons of clicks? Is there anything I can do? So this should be fine as long as you've added other variables for the title tag test to actually use. Then it will work a similar way as your AI does. It will basically test the certain title tag tester that's going to perform the best, and then based off the previous data of what is actually performing better, that will be continued to be tested. Of course, it'll still test your other titles, but it is similar to the AI, how the AI works, and that will basically be, continuing to use the same title that is performing well. Oh, from Sri Lanka. That's awesome. Um, I would say I'm more on the geographically challenged side, but I would love to hear that. And I'm very happy you guys are here. I guess to give complete transparency, um, I'm actually checking in from San Diego. I'm here at our Carlsbad office, but I'm actually not originally from here. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area, but I actually grew up in Maryland. But I think it's so cool that you guys all check in from around the world. And I think now that we have a handful of visits and I'm going to start really jumping into questions, I think now's the proper time to introduce myself. As you can see in the bottom corner, my name is Charlie. I'm from the Access Now onboarding team. You guys have probably seen me all over Twist and Tickets. Hopefully you guys have seen me in here in the past. I'm currently wearing my favorite t-shirt. Completely irrelevant, but I think it's something that I want to touch on. But yeah, let's jump into it. I am loco. I am loco too, especially when I have my cold brew coffee in the morning, which I do. So I'm right there with you. How much time until I know what my real ePMV will be? I'm currently 1.5 months in. Great question. So I think this really goes back to one of the topics we've talked about in the past, and it basically goes over the optimization timeline that you can kind of expect to see while you're running Ad Tester. I can attach the article below, but before I do that, it might create some confusion because when the article was actually written, that was pre the Access Now program. And the reason I'm mentioning this is there's basically a direct correlation between the more data our AI has and the faster it'll learn. So the article basically goes off, the first couple months is the learning phase, and then 6 to 9 months is kind of when, our AI has kind of learned your users and is starting to fully optimize. But as we're in the Access Now program. We're primarily sub 10,000 visits. I want you to realize that the correlation, will lengthen the amount of time our AI will have to learn your site. So while you're 1.5 months in, you might start to see some consistency, but there's still a ton of testing going on our end. So I would expect, roughly ballpark, you're going to be kind of transferring from the learning to the optimizing phase, maybe around the 6 to 7 months, which for you might seem like, oh, that's a really long time. Well, on the bright side, you might see your ePMV now and be like, and you can realize that the potential it has to grow, even continuing moving forward. And we can talk more about ePMV optimizations going forward. But I'm assuming that someone might ask that at least here in the next couple of minutes. So I don't want to go too far into that and let the questions stack up. Big Tech TV says, hi, Charlie. My mediation is successfully set up, but there is no mediation earnings, not even a cent. Is that normal? So yes, this is actually completely normal. To give you guys some background and some reference, basically the way mediation works is it basically allows more ad networks to bid against our ad network for your inventory. So what this might look like is, let's say, for instance, Big Tech TV, you were running AdSense prior to coming to Ezoic. what you can actually do is you can enable mediation and add AdSense as a partner, and then that way all the Ezoic partners will actually bid against the the AdSense partners. And what this will mean for your end is basically that you are earning as much as possible for your inventory. But it is completely normal. If you're not seeing any mediation earnings, that just means that the partners that you added, most likely AdSense, are Ezoic partners are outbidding your AdSense partners. So that's totally okay. No worries there. And if you guys have added mediation under the monetization tab of your dashboard, and you're seeing pending, that's also okay. All that means is that the first bid has not been won against the Ezoic partners. But once it is, that'll change from essentially pending to, it'll change from a red pending warning to a green delete warning, which basically means like you could remove it from your mediation app. Mr. Wright says, hello, my website, thesongcity.com, have been stuck with Google domain. Let's give this a quick look. Bear with me for a second, guys. I'm just going to check the... Okay, so I don't see the most recent reason for the disapproval. I know I'm scrolling on my end. You guys can't exactly see what I'm doing, but it doesn't give the most recent reason for a denial, so I can't actually find the best avenue and route to go forward. But Tucker from our team has been working with a couple others and actually created this really, really good knowledge base article. Of course, I'm going back to the knowledge base. And it basically goes over, I was disapproved for ad manager, why, and also not only why, but what can I do on my end to kind of resolve this issue. So that'll be a really, really good article there for the bottom. But again, if you guys are getting it denied on the domain and you're not exactly sure why or what's going on, the best thing to do is reach out to us in Twist, and we can actually look in the backend and Ad Manager directly and see, what the specific reason was for the denial. And we'll be fully transparent. We won't, if Google gave us a bunch of details exactly why the domain was denied, then we will not hold back on those, those details, and we'll be fully transparent. And we'll say, hey, this is what Google said. This is basically what we've seen in the past with the same denials. We'll take a look at your site and say, hey, Mr. Wright, this is actually what I see on your domain. This makes sense because they denied you for X reason. An X link is broken, or there's not enough content under here, or maybe there's repeating articles. But that article I just attached at the bottom will be really, really good and kind of goes over everything you need to know there. Super Hype says, I'm here checking in as well for a while. I won't start for all the session. I'm confused, but I'm happy you're here with me. I know you've been here in the past, so I appreciate you coming back. Can I use affiliate banner ads along my on my site alongside Ezoic ads? Will it create any policy violations for Ezoic and Google? It depends where your affiliate banner ads are coming from. But if you are running ads outside of Ezoic, you should be wrapping them in Ezoic code. The best thing you could do there is go to the knowledge base that I sent, and then actually type in wrapping ads. And essentially what you want to make sure is that all non-Ezoic ads are wrapped in Ezoic code. Why this is so important and why it can really hurt your revenue if you don't is because our AI basically will analyze the entire page and it'll say, okay, we have this much content. The content is here, here, and here in this location. So the best way to optimize the user experience is going to show this size ad in this location, and do it around the page. But if you have ads that are not wrapped in Ezoic code and they're showing on different locations of the page, our AI will not recognize this. And what it might actually do is dilute some of the content by over-serving too many ads because our AI doesn't know that there are other ads on the page. So this will hurt user experience. It'll lower your revenue, and it could ultimately lead in a policy violation with Ezoic or Google. So that'll be important for you there. If you're running Amazon affiliate ads, which we do see a good amount, that is okay. But I want you to consider also how this might impact user experience. Oversaturating your pages with affiliate ads can, even hurt rankings. Grav says, is it necessary to create an ads.txt manager account? Technically, yes, but we actually automatically do this when you cloud integrate with Ezoic. But yes, it is very important and crucial that you do create an account with ads.txt manager, because what ads.txt does, it basically verifies your identity to your ad networks. So if you didn't create an account and you're like, hey, Charlie, I'm fully approved, I have placeholders, I'm approved by ad manager, everything's dialed in, but you don't have your ads.txt, the ad networks won't bid on your inventory because you're not verifying your identity of who you are and basically showing the ad networks that they're allowed to bid on your inventory. So that'll basically result in really, really low earnings, or none at all, and basically no ad showing. And also why it's important to basically set up an account through the ads.txt manager app is because we actually update this ads.txt file a good bit. We're currently working with our ad networks. We have an entire revenue ops team, and they work day in and day out, and the team is also growing. So yeah, our ads.txt file is continually updating. I think it's about once a week. So it's important that you set that up through the monetization tab of your dash. Can I use a Ezoic traffic limit? Not sure exactly what our traffic limit is. We don't have one. It's not 0 and it's not a million, so there's no traffic limit. If I'm really just missing the head on this question, just if you could elaborate for me a little bit more in the comment section, I'll gladly circle back to this. Cheesecake 99 years ago. Hello. Austin, I believe. I'm so sorry if I butchered that again. I'm terrible with names. I'm really good with faces, but clearly that doesn't go far in a live stream when I'm reading comments. But I promise, I'm not as bad as names as you guys might think. Oh yes, exactly. You're exactly right, Charlie. I wanted to say the new article, the video trailblazer feature, is so cool. Please give that feedback to your team. Really interesting feature. I will gladly take this back to them. If there are certain things that you love about it, let me know. If there's certain things that you wish were also part of this feature, let me know, and I can also relay that exact information. But I'll be happy to do this for you. Are BB gun topics allowed for monetization? Yeah, I don't know specifically what exactly the rules are, but I know you're allowed to monetize gun pages as well. So like gun reviews or maybe even gun content. I know there are other gun domains on Ezoic currently, so I know that's not an issue. Um, um, Oh, Sandeep says, I mean that the new update of Video Creator in the beta version, is there any requirements, i.e. level up or pro account, to access the new release features called Alpha Create Your Own Videos? I'm not exactly sure when this feature will be available to everyone, but I know that it is in the beta version, and we are going to be running it out to a limited group of publishers as we are kind of working with this. But I guess the cat is somewhat out the bag already. And essentially, Ezoic is going to be working to basically create, translate your content into a video. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for saying that, but I think it should be good. But I think that's such an incredible feature. I think this is part of the major focus that we're kind of, we're gearing towards is the video content. I think not only Ezoic but other ad networks are also kind of, shifting their focus to video content. I think it's just kind of the new way of website publishing. Maybe not a new way, but it's definitely a new feature and a new avenue. Um, I personally think making videos is really fun. I think it's a totally different way to engage with your users. I think it's also just a totally another avenue for you to create more revenue for your site. So it's very exciting stuff all around. So Guav, it is. So we kind of touched on the ads.txt manager. Yes, it's necessary for that in order to show ads. And yes, it's also essential that you create a Google Ad Manager account when you're signing up for Ezoic. Basically, what the Ad Manager, account you create and use for Ezoic will basically give you access to our ad partners. So not only that's why they actually have to approve your account and domain as well, just so they make sure that they are bidding on inventory that is high quality and valid. And is just Google AdSense enough? No, you will need an ad manager account. But if you are previously using AdSense, it's very important that you sign up to Ad Manager using your AdSense account. If you do not, you'll most likely get denied an ad manager for duplicate accounts. You'll have to close out the new account and use the original account for AdSense, and then just reapply and go from there. If you are seeing that denial, my account is denied. If you see a reason or not, if you're seeing duplicate account, head to us in Twist, and we can easily help navigate that with you, whether it be simply doing it on our end, just by changing the email on file if the duplicate has been closed, or if you're sitting there saying, I don't know why my account's being flagged as a duplicate. I definitely don't have another account. What the heck is going on? Then that is fine too. We can open up a ticket with Google and basically get that consolidated from our end. Great question. Let me give this a quick check. Even if I don't give a full deep dive exactly what the reason is for the denial, I did attach that article in the comment section there that basically goes over the reason for every denial. This is another scenario, again, where the review has already been resubmitted for review, so I can't see the exact reason for the denial. But that article I attached above that basically goes over all of the reasons why. It's very important that you check over everything to make sure that you are fully abiding by their policies. I will agree and admit that Google does look for a couple of random things in there, pretty specific. So sometimes publishers are even approved for AdSense, but get disapproved for Ad Manager. Sometimes it's things as simple as having articles repeat in different categories of your menu, which I agree is not the end of the world, but that's just kind of the way the things go. And in order for us to facilitate this process, we're going to have to help find these issues and fix them for you. But again, I don't see the reason for your denial as you already resubmitted it. So I would think your best thing to do right now, right possible, is to go into Twist and post in there. And then I can actually go through and just give your site a pretty good run through. I will say I've been looking at hundreds of sites getting denied by Ad Manager. So I will say that, I've learned a thing or two along the way. No, I don't have the process perfect yet, but I will say I facilitate a lot of the denials in Ezoic as well, not just the Access Now program. So I do, believe I can help you out with that for sure. Sir, my question is about payment or payout. I am using Ezoic but cannot get payment, and I don't know earnings. So please help me to understand this. So if you actually are in the dashboard, you can go into the very top right into your account and drop down and say payment history. And from there, you can see the amount that were owed. You can also see the payment method that you have signed up. So I'm not exactly sure why you cannot get your payments. Hopefully you've set up your payment information. And if you have not, do that right away. And if you have not set up your tax information, also do that right away. But if you have your tax information, your billing information, and your payment method set up, then you will get the payment, assuming that you've passed the earning threshold of $20, which is the minimum payout threshold. If you did not meet that in this month, let's say you earned $15 in the month of July, that will actually be carried over to the following month. So if you earn another $15 next month, you're now at $30 total, and you'll get paid $30 out at the end of the following month, which means you'll be paid out by the end of September, because at the end of August, you passed the minimum threshold of $20. So we pay out net 30, which means you pass the threshold, you wait 30 days and get paid out. Recently, people were talking about, this is a really long waiting period. Well, it's actually, 50% shorter than AdSense. AdSense runs a net $60 payout, and so do other ad networks as well. So while it might seem like a really long time, it's actually half the time as others. So bear with us on that. It's just the way things go for now. And I don't think we are even allowed to change this. But still, make sure your payment settings are in order, your payment methods, your tax information, and also your billing information. A common question we get regarding the tax information is like, oh, hey, Charlie, I'm not from the United States, so I actually don't have this tax information. What can I do? If you fall under the realm of that case study, what you should basically do is just input 0 as all the values, as you obviously don't have like maybe a tax ID number or something along that. But I would check with your local jurisdiction, just make sure that you do have everything that you need and you do have all the criteria in order. Um, Someone says, I've adjusted some placeholder after discussing with my support assistant, but ePMV dropped from $12 to $8 or $9 after that. It's been around 10 days. How much time will it take to get better ePMV? So, great question. I'm curious the changes you actually made to your placeholders because it sounds like we might be working in the wrong direction. When you've adjusted some of your placeholders, hopefully that means you're adding more variables to our AI equation, I'll call it, whether that be enabling more sizes of your current placeholders or just adding more placeholders in general. If you were removing placeholders and kind of restricting the sizes you could serve, that will actually hurt ePMV and not help it. Even if you're sitting there and saying, oh, well, I actually kept some of the highest performing ad sizes enabled, it still limits our AI's testing abilities because some users might want a completely different setup than another. So even if it's performing well originally, it's important to keep other sizes enabled as it could actually help certain users in ePMV in the long run. I would also make sure that you have a bunch of all your ad formats are enabled. So you want beta formats enabled, AI, enhanced placeholders, sticky sidebar, bottom of the page, native placeholders. You want to make sure that you have a high variance in your actual ads that you show. OMB Tech says, hi, Charlie. Hello. I'm not sure if I've seen you in here before, so I'll start off and say welcome. I'm actually seeing a lot of the recent questions are from names I have not seen before. So I'll reintroduce myself again just in case you guys have not come. But my name is Charlie. Um, my formal name is Charles, but I like to go by Charlie. So if I'm ever annoying you and you want to let me know, simply call me Charles, and I'll process and I'll take a step back. So that'll be your guys' cue to say, hey, Charlie, stop being annoying. But anyway, I'm part of the Access Now onboarding team. Hopefully you guys have seen me in Twist. If not, I would say Twist is such a great feature and such a great platform that we actually use for support. I know it might be a little bit confusing for you guys, but it actually is just about the closest thing between tickets and live chat. We can basically respond within the hour now that we have 3 people on during our office during our hours. But yeah, enough of that rant. Is there any update yet from the video team about customizing Humanx directory? So I know you asked me this twice in Twist already, and I appreciate you coming in here as well. We actually have someone new that's kind of revamping the entire affiliate program. His name is Parker. I did reach out to him yesterday again for the second time. I can check for a response directly after this, even right now. It does not look like he has responded yet. I know he's super busy. But I can actually go walk over to that side of the office and ask him directly from there because I would love to get an answer for you on this. And to give you guys kind of clarification of what exactly we're talking about here, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Um, oh no, Odon Lumen. Basically, he was seeing the directory at the bottom of the page when he was running his um, Humanx. It was basically showing his full name, and he was trying to change the value of that to his company name. That way, it's not showing his full name, which I think is 100% understandable. And I probably would agree with you there. No update yet, but I will be knocking on his door and kind of pushing him pretty hard on this. Um, Next question. Ramil says, hi, Charlie. I am on a free trial for Ezoic Pro, but I don't see anything different from my regular Ezoic account. So, um, since you are using a free trial, I will say that some of the most valuable features you'll see are actually under the analytics tab of your dashboard. You actually get access to what we call yield reporting, which basically goes over your ad earning metrics and data. So, you can see the performance of certain placeholders, certain sizes of ads, locations of ads. But there's also a couple other important things that are also included in Zoic Pro. And I just dropped it down in the bottom in the article section. In the comment section. So I would highly suggest going to that so you can actually utilize all of the Zoic Pro features while you're on the free trial. And maybe you say, hey, I found this really beneficial. I would love to extend this and pay for a subscription post your 30-day trial. OMB says, I couldn't add my site to a Ezoic account. It says the site already existed. I never added my site before and no way to contact Ezoic support. So what this means is that you were, or excuse me, maybe you bought this domain and the previous owner was already using Ezoic. That's okay. There's plenty of things we can do, as a workaround for this. Um, Essentially, you will need to reach out to support, whether it's through tickets, if that's your only available option. But if not, actually, OMB Tech, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my email down in the comment section because I want to make sure that you do have some avenue of support, or at least I can point you in the right direction. But what I just did is I just dropped my email down in the comment section. So send me a quick email and say, hey, Charlie, I was with you this morning. I'm trying to add this site. I'm not even sure where I need to go for support. And I can point you in the right direction for support. And I can also let you know kind of the status of what the previous domain was. So we can kind of get everything situated there and add it into your account. I want to connect my domain with Google Ad Manager. Awesome. So once you actually integrate and set up your site, you will actually see the setup steps. It's called the Ezoic Essentials course. Basically, it goes over everything you need to do to set up to show ads. That includes connecting to Ad Manager. But yeah, that'll be on the home screen of your dashboard, and it'll basically walk you through setting that up. My main domain is integrated and working fine, but my subdomain has stopped working. I've mailed you about this issue, but I've not gotten a reply yet. So I'm not sure if you've emailed me personally or if you've gone into Twist, but we actually only use Twist for support. If your subdomain stopped working, this is most likely a DNS mismatch between your host and Ezoic. You should make sure that if it's a CNAME record, you want to make sure that CNAME record is exactly um, the same value that shows as your host. And if it is, then there should be no worries. And if you're saying, why they're not ads showing, that's when you will actually need to reach out to us in Twister support and say, hey, Charlie, I added this CNAME subdomain record, but I'm not seeing ads. It doesn't seem like it's routing through your CDN. And what we can actually do is just give it a quick check. And then from there, we can just basically turn on the proxy so it is routing to our CDN. But if your subdomain is not working, then and you have not reached out to us in support yet, that definitely means that it is down at your host because subdomains do not automatically get routed through our CDN. Is it possible in the future that a Ezoic publisher will no longer need Google MCM approval? No, because in order to show ads, as we are, an Ezoic ad partner, in order to be part of this, partnership and get access to the ad network, this is exactly, the approval you'll need to get there. So the MCM approval will always be a thing. But again, we've been pretty good at navigating these denials, so we just need to continue working on it. And unless they mark your account as basically ineligible, which means you've had issues with Google in the past, then you'll always be ready and willing to make changes and potentially get an approval. I bought a monetized website on Ezoic. After ownership transfer, it's going through review again. Is that normal? Yes, it is, because if it's transferring from one owner's account to yours, we still need to make sure that all the content and all the traffic is valid and high quality. So yes, it is normal. If you have good amounts of traffic, then this review should be rather quick. We can check content very easily, and same with traffic. So if it's taking a long time, that just means we're waiting on data, and there's not a backlog on our end. Hi Charlie, I just added my new site, blah blah blah, waiting for Google approval, but then do I still need to change name servers? If you're already approved by Ezoic, then you don't need to be currently integrated for Google to review your domain. If the Ezoic review has not been completed, you definitely need to be integrated via name servers, or else we will not be able to review your domain. But yeah, if you're running, if you don't want to be integrated during the time post the Ezoic review, during the ad manager review, you do not have to be integrated. It might create a lot of work for you because you'll have to reintegrate again once you're approved. If you want to show AdSense ads, if that's your main concern here, and that's basically why you're asking this question, what you can basically do is you can actually go to the settings tab of your dashboard. set Ezoic traffic to 1% or 0, and that way 99 to 100% of your users will actually be seeing the AdSense versions of your site. Why does Ezoic need MCM approval if Ezoic has their own ad partners? Because we actually get our ad partners through this MCM program. That's exactly where the ad partners come from. Unauthorized, missing, or incorrect login credentials. Retry login. This error occurred when I'm authorized my YouTube channel. The best thing we can do here is actually just to clear your cache and cookies and then resubmit for review. Resubmit for review. Resubmit to authorize your account. We've seen this in the past with the Google Search Console authorization. But clearing your cache and cookies and then reauthorizing this 99.9% of the time works. So I would just go ahead and do that try really quickly and let me know. Charlie, do you play the game Fall Guys? Oh wait, I think you would really like it. I don't think so, but if this is the game where you basically log into the online server and you basically run through kind of like an obstacle course and it's all online versus real people and you got to jump over obstacles and like run around the circles. I have played that game recently on the PS5 and that game was so fun. It looks so easy when people play it and I struggled. I got to the final round once, but that was after maybe 4 or 5, 6 attempts. But I agree. This game rules. If you guys are into games and haven't tried it yet, maybe read a review on it. Check out a video. It's a really fun game. Sandeepa says, why is ePMV getting low? Once it's above $10 and now it increased to even $1. Okay, so a decrease from $10 to $1 is very concerning. This is definitely something we're going to be looking at. This is not normal. This should not be happening at all. I would probably first ask, what changes have you made in the past week since, because it is not normal to go from $10 to $1. I don't know if you've maybe disabled ads on a certain page. I don't know if you've added certain exclusion rules. This is when your analytics can really help you out here. You can basically figure out, if there's certain pages that are performing really low, if there's a time frame when this happened, and then you can work backwards and see maybe what happened there. But yes, this is definitely something we want to look at, and probably is the best thing to do is just open a thread in Twist, and then go in there. We can for sure help you out. But I do, I kind of want to touch back up on this again. If you've written or if you've edited your current articles, they could be getting flagged by objectionable content. That's something we see. Sometimes your top landing pages are now seeing errors. That could be another reason why. But yeah, this is definitely something we want to look at, and I can definitely help you out with in Twist. I'll be more than happy to. Is social media traffic from the United States and the UK still considered low quality traffic? So social media traffic was actually never deemed low quality ever, regardless of where it came from. It's more if it doesn't. It's not more in the terms of if it's social media traffic or not. It's more in terms of if your users are actually just engaging with your content. That's kind of what we determine if it's high or low quality. So we've seen really low quality traffic through Google. That's very rare. That very rarely happens. But if your social media traffic is coming and basically checking out your pages for a couple seconds and then bouncing right away, then that will definitely be considered low quality social traffic. But social media traffic alone is actually a really good avenue for gaining traffic and gaining some traction and some business to your site. So I would definitely promote social media traffic and not say that it's still considered low quality traffic. But yeah. Juan says, hi, 99% of my site is through Ezoic and 1% through AdSense, but my site revenue is 60%, 40% roughly. Why this happens? Thank you. So what this most likely means, and correct me if I'm wrong, so what he's saying is I'm sending 99% of my traffic to Ezoic, but Ezoic is calculating about 60% of my revenue, and about 40% of my revenue is still going through AdSense. So what this most likely means is that you have AdSense ads showing on your site that need to get wrapped in Ezoic code. We kind of talked about this a bit earlier, but not only is it hurting, obviously your Ezoic revenue, it's as you're getting 40% of it through AdSense, but you're also limiting what that 60% could look like. So let's say your AdSense or your Ezoic ePMV right now is $8, but you're showing this many AdSense ads alongside Ezoic ads. You really could be doubling your ePMV just by wrapping those ads and ensuring that our AI is testing your pages appropriately. Again, it's going to have to fully scan the pages and know exactly what's on the page head to toe. That way it will show the perfect ad setup to the user. So the best thing for you to do right now, Puan, is go to your top landing pages, at least the top 3, 4, 5 of them. Enable the Ezoic Chrome extension in the top, where basically, it changes all of and you can activate your placeholders, and that'll change your ads to go from ads to those colored placeholder boxes. If you see any ads still showing alongside those colored placeholders, those will be all the AdSense ads that you need to wrap. I can add the article for you right now, but that is something you should probably do, if not right now or directly after this. Just post you for down at the bottom. But yeah, Pawn, I would highly suggest. I'm not going to give out homework like a teacher, but that's your homework. I said that last time, but here I am again giving homework. John Cat says, what is the best way to get payment in terms of fees from users in Europe and Asia? So I think that depends on what currency you would like to transfer it to. I am not sure in terms of if you were to transfer into your local currency, because I know Payoneer does have their own fees on their end. And I know if we do international transfer, there's also a fee. It's a small one, but Payoneer also does this, also has a fee. So I'd probably say PayPal is most likely your best bet. But they also do 4% currency conversion fees. So again, I'll attach this payment article down at the bottom for you to see, but I think it more depends on what your local currency is. If it's maybe the euro or the yen or whatever it might be, that's something you want to. Oh, John, I think you just maybe might have commented maybe on Facebook or YouTube, and it kind of duplicated your question. But regardless, that article I posted at the very bottom will basically go into this and all the fees you might see depending on if you're transferring to a currency or not. Excuse me. Grav says, can I use two different Google AdSense accounts in Ezoic? Both accounts are controlled by two different users with no connection. No, you cannot do this. This is not the safest behavior, we will say. I know you were previously asking about Ad Manager, so if you've actually, so I can take a look at your account if you want me to, but yeah, no, you cannot do this. You should only have one AdSense account, even if they're controlled by two different users with no connection. I'm not sure why you have two different AdSense accounts that are not connected in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, it's a bit concerning, but you should only have one AdSense account, one Ezoic account, and one Ad Manager account. And the Ad Manager account, if you also have an AdSense account, will definitely have to be under the same email. Sir, please make one WordPress theme for Ezoic publishers to load their site faster. I'm not sure if you want Ezoic to actually make this theme, if that was the question, or if you're curious what themes are fastest. We actually have a great article on this, and it basically goes over the fact that sometimes the simpler themes are actually the faster ones. Where is this article? But I believe the ones they do are 2021, which is free. But yeah, I think that's the one they actually. Okay, so Zacra, Carbonate Master, Gutenberg, Total, and 2021 are basically the fastest ones, and they actually can help with earnings, because if you're if you have a really fast site and it's loading really quick for your users are going to love that. They're going to engage with the content right away, and you'll see better revenue. But I just posted that article down at the bottom, and it kind of goes over exactly that. But if you're asking to make a WordPress theme through Ezoic, you're not the first one to say that, and I'll leave it there. For over a month now, Ezoic approval has been pending. Okay, so we definitely want to look into this. There's three scenarios here. The only reason why a Ezoic review will take a month is if you have very little to no visitors. That would be like maybe one visit a month. One visit a day. The second scenario is, there's an error on your domain, so we actually cannot review it, which means like an origin error, maybe there's an SSL issue or maybe a DNS issue. And then the third scenario will be that maybe your content is actually blocked. And so what we'll do is when we're trying to review it is we'll actually reach out and send you an email and say, hey, right possible, can you remove the content blocker on your site? We need to review it. In order to review it, you need to remove it. So those are the three scenarios. Too little data, content blocker, error on your domain. If you're not seeing any of those, please reach out to us in support and Twist, and we'll basically get that figured out right away. I enabled Humanx after putting video placeholders on my website, and I get around 600 to 800 views a day, but only around 1% per day. So this is actually flagged to the video team twice this week. And they're actually looking to this right now, looking over into the conversions and looking into see, maybe where the users are coming from. But they are actually looking into this as well. We did see this before. But Humanx is also still on the very, very newer side of things, so the demand is not nearly as high as it will be in the next coming months. So I'll still, I'll be a heavy advocate for adding more and still continuing doing this. I will say you're early on in the phase of this. You kind of jumped on this early, which is a really, really great thing. Well done. But yeah, don't be discouraged about the earnings because it is something that we're looking into, and it is something that we'll slowly build up a demand for with our ad partners. And it that will be the shift of our focus going forward. Charlie, I've created a Twist account. How can I contact you? Grob, can you I dropped my email down below or maybe above there. Can you just send me a quick email? Let me know what your domain is. Let me know what your email with Ezoic is, and I can tell you exactly where and how to get support specifically. Annex says, is there a way to troubleshoot what's wrong, or is that the normal earnings? Seems not worthwhile. I believe this was. What was the question? I thought it was with the ePMV change, if I'm correct. Or maybe it was with the title tag tester. Annex, remind me exactly what your question was previously. Oh, right there, duh, the Humanx. So yeah, I totally understand, but yes, we are looking into that. We are slowly creating more and more of a demand with our partners, so it is going to be a bit of a process. But I agree with you. But keep posting videos and keep doing it because it is already slowly building, and we've already seen some publishers see some pretty drastic changes. They've also built up more of a demand, and depending on where the users are coming from. Oh, but this is your domain, spacerhub.com. Okay. Right. Okay, I just sent that to the team so they can actually take a deep view into this right now as I'm doing this. But if it's been pending for a month, we 100% want to look into that. Okay. I did pull it up, but it looks like the team's already looking into it, so that's beautiful. My cache hit rate for the last 30 days is 83.3%. Is that good or bad? That's actually great. Well done. The higher the cache hit rate, the better. That means that we're serving cache content to your users at an 83.3% rate. There are things you can do to improve it, but it might also not be 100 depending on if you're posting new articles, depending on where your users are coming from. But yeah, so yes, Annex touched on this. That is good, and it is really good. His is 95.5%. That's amazing. But 83.3 is still very good. But Annex, awesome. 95.5 is amazing. Sometimes the best thing to do, guys, if you've optimized your cache, is to actually do nothing. Just encourage your users to come to your pages more and more, work on SEO, and that'll help keep and drive your cache hit rate higher and above and beyond. Cigar says, how do I add subdomain? I'm using Ezoic WordPress hosting. So we actually do not support subdomain hosting currently. So that actually have to live at your previous host still. But there are a couple workarounds we could potentially do. But right now we cannot offer subdomain. Um, we cannot offer hosting for your subdomain currently. But the next question is, can we implement Ezoic on subdomain? Yes, you can absolutely do that as long as you're not on our hosting. I can actually add an article for you exactly how to do this right now. It'll consist of you going to your host, finding the CNAME or subdomain record, and then just copying that verbatim exactly into the Ezoic DNS records. That was this question here. Tarun says, we have GAM. How Ezoic can make a difference in earning. So if you already have a GAM and you're approved, that's kind of what it sounds like. How Ezoic can improve your earning is basically using our ad tester. If you are unfamiliar with how our ad tester works, it's basically an artificial intelligence built out to serve ads to the user depending on the data available. But yeah, how can it make a difference in your earning? Is it basically will individualize the ad setup to every single visitor, and it'll primarily optimize user experience. So if we're optimizing user experience, that means the users will have a better time on your pages and stay on there longer, which means it'll actually increase earnings. So that's exactly how our ad tester works. So no, if you are in Ezoic Pro, I don't know where you saw that. It includes 500,000 page views a month. No, if on Ezoic Pro, we do not basically send 500,000 page views per month. That will most likely be bought and invalid traffic. I'm not sure where exactly you're seeing that, but I can touch up on that more if I get some more information. Oh, esports. Great question. Hey Charlie, can you please tell us good tips to gain on a Ezoic grant? So you actually should see things in your dashboard if they are now available again. I don't want to go into it too much because next week is content week. And I do really want to touch on that, but I'm gonna wait on that for next week. But I think the best thing for you to do now, if it is available, is actually just to find it into the dashboard and then actually do everything that makes you eligible to be, for the grant. Sometimes that's optimizing everything under the levels dashboard or basically doing everything there. But I actually didn't know that the grants were actually available yet. If they are, I will definitely touch upon that again next week, just so I'm not, confusing you guys at all. But yeah, I kind of mentioned Content Week. You guys will kind of see some updates in your dashboard in the next couple days. And I don't really want to give too much of it away because marketing has been working really, really hard on this. But I would keep an eye out for very exciting stuff to happen next month. Very, very exciting things. Oh, right, possible. So yeah, I actually sent this to the team to check out right now. They're actually going to investigate this and give me an answer. So the best thing to do right after this is to head into Twist, and from there I can help you out. So he says my ePMV is decreasing. What could be the reason? There's actually a lot of things that could be, the reason for this. It could be seasonality of your content. It could be changes to your placeholder setup. It could be because you're new. But if your ePMV is decreasing, I would check for objectionable content in the dashboard. I will use your analytics and actually view the top landing pages. Maybe you can isolate a URL, a specific URL or another. So I was reading some of the other questions. You can also isolate maybe a lower ePMV due to traffic. So maybe you can say, you know what, maybe my GDPR and everything is not set up perfectly there. Um, But yeah, there's a lot of things that can go into this, and I can 100% deep dive this for you. So Sahid, without giving me your domain name here, if you're not comfortable, the best thing you can actually do is to just go ahead and um, head to Twist, and I can do that for you there right now. And I'll be more than happy to go through and just deep dive everything for you. Anik says, Charlie, are you looking forward to the Ezoic content month in August? Absolutely. There are so many exciting things coming. We kind of got an internal rundown of how it might, or of how it is going to look next month. Um, and yeah, I think you guys will love it. I'm way more excited than than I was last year. Maybe more because last year I was only a handful of months in, so I didn't have as good of a grasp on exactly everything that goes down on a day-to-day basis here. But yeah, I'm really excited. I gotta stop talking before I say too much because that's kind of what I'm good at, is venting and then saying too much. But yes, I'm very excited. Hopefully, you guys can see it on my face because you guys should also be very, very excited. I currently use Lightspeed server, and when I added Ezoic ads to the website, it became very slow. So you actually want to disable Lightspeed server because it does conflict with our CDN. Um, and actually, ads have no effect on site speed. So if that was your concern, site speed does not get affected. We always load content first while ads load on the back end. Basically, what happens when the content loads is you will basically have programmatic bidding going on the back end for your inventory. So that's why the content will load first and then the ads. But that is shown to not hurt user experience at all, because your content is loading and it's exactly what they want to see as fast as possible. So adding, Ezoic ads to your site will not make it become very slow. Most likely, it's actually the Lightspeed server and the caching that's enabled on that end. It actually is just creating a bunch of extra scripts and is actually backing up things on our end. Sometimes it doesn't even work. Sometimes ads don't even show with Lightspeed server. Sometimes it completely bypasses our CDN depending on the headers. But your next question is, what web server works best with Ezoic? So simply integrating with our cloud actually gives you access to our CDN. We use AWS Amazon servers, so those are the servers that work best with Ezoic. Of course, it depends on where your user is, depending on the server that they're going to be linked to. But as you guys know, AWS servers are superior. They're very, very fast. They're located all over the world. Of course, Amazon has the funding. We're really lucky to have access to that CDN, or excuse me, to their servers. But yeah, you will want to disable Lightspeed CDN because it will create a bunch of issues. Right Possible says, I didn't get an email. I didn't send you an email, Right Possible. I put my email down in the comment section for you to reach out to me. You guys can all reach out to me, not for support type questions, but if you're like, hey, I'm actually not sure where I even go for support, I can point you in the right direction. Loop True, I kind of answered this already just previously. Gravi says, check your email, please. Yes, I'll check it right after this, but I'm not going to do it during the live stream while I'm helping out others. Hadar says, I use JNews Theme and it's the best for my blog. And with WP Rocket and some more plugins, I get 99% on mobile. And now with Leap, it's 18%. Will my website ever be fast again or even close to 90% plus? So I'm not sure where exactly you're seeing this 99%. I'm assuming you're talking about page speed insights or maybe GT metrics. Something I want you to consider is that page speed insights and GT metrics actually use old variables that are not valid for Google or rankings anymore. Um, Google now actually goes off of core web vitals, which is exactly what Leap analyzes. So I also want you to think, that is the main concern, is that they're not even measuring valid metrics anymore. But on top of that, page speed insights and GT metrics, they actually, they basically use like a lab type setting to analyze your pages. So basically it'll be a lab type setting. It won't be a real user. And so it doesn't actually give you the most accurate results. Leap actually uses real user data and core web vitals. So it's valid users and data and it's valid metrics that are actually important to you all. So I would actually focus on core web vitals and not those tests because they're not as important. And Leap, it might show certain scores red at the beginning, But as I said, it uses real user data, so it actually takes time to fully analyze, and it won't be like 99% right now, and then you make changes in 5 seconds later, it's going to be 18%. That's not how Leap works. So it's really good to set things up there. It's okay to use WordPress or WP Rocket. It is a compatible caching plugin. You just want to make sure that you're not also caching in the Ezoic dashboard, because you could just have conflicting caching going. But again, it's a timely process. It will not be overnight like that. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Hello, I complete the Ezoic process, but I still see this message. Waiting on Google to review your domain. This can take up to 2 weeks. So yeah, this is a rather annoying thing on Google, but the review for the domain can actually take up to 10 days or 2 weeks. Sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's a half an hour, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's 14 days total. But the Google review can take up to 14 days, and there's actually nothing we can do on our end to expedite this, which is very, very unfortunate. Um, but yeah, I would say the best thing you could do is to actually go into the Zoe or go into Twist, post a thread in there, and say, "Hey, Charlie, just want to make sure that everything's set up on my end. I'm not missing anything that is actually holding back this review, and I can do that for you." Right, possible. I didn't send an invitation to Twist. I'm gonna have you reach out to me first. I sent you my email at the bottom. Um, but yeah, you should basically, reach out to me and say, "Hey, I need an invite to Twist" on the email I sent down below, and then I can actually generate one for you. Gregory Gaines with a period. Hello, Gregory. I've not seen you in here before. Feel free to ask any question. I'm actually going to run and grab a charger here in a second because my computer is going to die. And for whatever reason, this cord is not charging my computer. But Ramon says, will Ezoic on its own increase/send more traffic to my site? So yes and no. No, it will not just send more traffic to your site alone, but Ezoic will help increase, can help increase your rankings. That can be through Leap and dialing in your core web vitals. It can also be with the data because you can authorize your Google Search Console. You can also use our title tag tester, so you can actually help improve SEO rankings there. So yes, Ezoic is an all-in-one platform for publishers. So that obviously covers SEO and gaining traffic. But integrating with Ezoic does not mean that we will basically send traffic to your site right away. But we have the available features in order for you to grow your site. Can we run other ad networks with Ezoic? If yes, how is ads.txt of other networks can be added? So you can actually head to the Mediation tab or the Mediation app under the monetization tab of your dashboard. You can go there and authorize any ad networks that are not in our own. And then you'll just want to manually add the entry into your ads.txt of this ad network. I can actually ask if that process is automatic from adding in Mediation to our ads.txt. It could be due to the way it's built out. But if it's not, you'll just want to make sure and go to add the entry manually through the ads.txt manager app. Ramon says, one of the ads that is popping up on my food site says jump to recipe. This takes users to an outside website, not my recipes. So if this is an Ezoic ad being served and it looks low quality, this is something you want to flag to us, and we can bring directly up with that ad network. We can say, we can either terminate that or say, hey, look, you guys are serving bad ads. This is an issue. We can't have this happen again. But I haven't seen an ad like this before, so I would ask you to make sure that this is actually an Ezoic ad. What you can do is go to the page, go to the URL where you see this, find the Ezoic Chrome extension, activate the placeholders. All the ads will change from ads to the colored placeholder boxes or rectangles. If you still see ads showing on the page alongside these colored rectangles or boxes, that means those are AdSense ads showing on your site, and those need to be wrapped. So we want to make sure that the ad, if it is low quality, that it is being served like through Ezoic, and if it is, then we can take action. But if it's being served through AdSense, you'll just want to make sure you wrap that, and that ad will not show again. It'll only show through the Ezoic partners. So yeah, Mark says your speed will pick up around the 30-day window. So yeah, it does take time for Leap to fully, optimize your setup. But as Mark says, it is a timely manner, and it does show and has been proven to work. Um, so yeah, we can definitely do that. Grub, I'll be happy to help you with this review. Hadar says, so where can I see accurate speed results that Google does take into account? So great question. These will actually be underneath the speed tab of your dashboard, and that's actually exactly what Leap is. Leap is a tool built out specifically for these metrics that Google takes into account. Um, you can also find the caching app right there next to it. So if you're seeing LCP scores struggling a good bit, but you fully optimized everything under optimization settings, then I would check out your cache hit rate because cache hit rate can also help increase LCP scores. But yeah, to answer your question in short, this will all be found under the speed tab of your dashboard. Ad manager problem, change email request. We can definitely do this for you in Twist, so I would head there right now. Esther says, what's the best way to add ads in the sidebar of my webpage or blog post? So if you're using WordPress, you can easily use the WordPress plugin to add more placeholders that way. It'll automatically add them all over, top of the page, bottom of the page, but it also do sidebar top, sidebar middle, sidebar floating. But if not, really easy way is to actually just go ahead and use the Chrome extension, add a placeholder in the sidebar. I would make sure you have a sidebar top, middle, and bottom if you actually do have sidebar content. And then what you want to do is make sure that the bottom sidebar is actually floating because that does perform very, very well. Let me, oh shoot. Let me go back. There's a good article that basically shows you exactly how to add this to the Chrome extension. Um, it's a very easy process. You could probably be done with it in the next 5 minutes or less, even if it's your first time. But I just dropped that article down at the bottom for you. Grav says, what's your take on ad charity? So I don't know if you mean like showing charity ads or donating some of your ads to like your earnings to charity. Personally, I think it's amazing. I don't see any reason why not. I know we are donating. We currently have a charity program going to dedicate, some of your earnings to Ukraine. I think it's very subjective. I think I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where I am now. So I think, you know, if I feel like I've been given a lot, I feel like it's more important to give back double. So it's not important what's in it for me. Sometimes it's best to think about what's best for others. And if everyone has the same concept, then we're all taking care of each other. Then that's the best way forward. And that's going to be my take on ad charity. But yeah, I think it's a great avenue. Charity ads are great. Donating to charity is really good, especially if it's a valid source. It is through Ezoic, of course, but I will say if you are doing it any other way, just make sure that your earnings and the money you are putting aside is to a credible source. So my ads.txt should contain all the URLs that were given to me during setup. If you actually integrated through our CDN or through our cloud, this will actually be handled automatically, so you won't have to do that. Gregory says, does it help to optimize images before Leap gets them short pixel, smush, imagery, etc.? Thanks, Greg. So no, you actually don't have to do that prior to Leap. Excuse me. Leap will actually optimize your images however they're served or added to your pages. Most of it will be sometimes lazy loading or preloading images in the background, but it'll also convert, depending if you're serving them in certain files, but they'll actually change them from JPEG to WebP formats. So Greg, yeah, everything will be handled. Don't have to do anything prior to Leap. It'll handle everything for you there. Loop True, this is a really, really good question. Is there a way to reduce the number of ads added by the Ezoic AI? The number of ads showing within the content is too much. Yes, there's a way, but I really want you to consider how subjective this is. But it's your domain, it's 100% under your control. So you can actually do two things. I would probably suggest the first route I'm going to suggest first. That will be what I'll advocate for. So if you actually go to the settings tab of your dashboard, which is on the far right, scroll down a good bit and or like just a couple pages, and you'll see optimization goals. And basically what you can do is this will basically change the attitude of how our AI works. So if it's a revenue focused, of course, the AI is going to be like, hey, let's serve more ads because we're revenue focused. You can change it to user focused or user experience focused. And that will show less ads on the page because that'll basically prioritize the user experience over everything. But you can also just set it to balance, which will basically find the perfect balance between a lot of earnings and holding on to a really good user experience. And then the second avenue is to actually go and set max ads per page. So you can say, hey, if the content or if an article only has this many words, I don't want more than this many ads to show. My computer is still not working. Okay, I'm going to answer these two questions and then go try to run really quickly and find a charger. If not, I might actually have to wrap this one up early today. We're still an hour, 15 minutes in, so that's really good. But is there any way we can use a real username without creating a random text as our username in Ezoic hosting? I didn't know you even create a username in Ezoic hosting, so I will actually jump in, ask the hosting team exactly this. But I can put in a request for you if possible. But no, I didn't even know you could create a username for this, so I'll definitely do that for you. About my last question, I mean, if there is a tool like Google Page Speed that shows the percentage of site speed. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by percentage of site speed, but this is something that we can definitely cover and twist with you. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by percentage of site speed. Ads.txt manager ID would not really be linked to why you're getting denied for ad manager. But again, Grav, we can touch up on this, and I gave you my email. You send me an email. I'll go ahead and answer this right after this. All right, everyone. Well, the charger in here is not working, and I am actually all caught up on questions. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to wrap this one up early today. But next week is a huge week for us at Ezoic. As some of you guys mentioned prior, next week is content week. So if you guys do not know anything about that, I would actually head to the Ezoic website and check that out because there's some really, really exciting features coming out. There's a lot of email. I mean, there's a lot of optimization opportunities for you all. There's also some. Actually, I can't say too much. There's a lot going on next week, and it hasn't been released to you guys yet, so I can't say too much. But I will say there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to do more. I keep wanting to say exactly, but I can't yet. I'm just really excited because they gave us kind of the internal rundown yesterday. But again, guys, keep your eye out on your dashboard and on the Ezoic website for content month next week that starts. I actually might run a second webinar. Maybe we can go over this for you guys specifically. I know you guys get invited to them all, but I'll be more than happy to do this one-on-one from my end. No, I know I cannot spoil it. I'll get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't like getting in trouble. But again, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm sorry this one is a bit shorter. Actually, most easy user relate mediation to AdSense. Is it true you can use other ad networks as well? Yes, you can use other ad networks as well, as long as you're approved to actually use them. But if you guys do